Let's go over the 𝗣𝗥𝗢𝗢𝗙 5K video camera camcorder. So if you're looking to get into content creation or vlogging, but don't want to spend a fortune on camera gear, this might be exactly what you need. So I'm going to go over everything in this box, all the different features, walk you through the different menu options, and talk about who this is for, all to help you make a better informed buying decision. So let me show you what you get in the box. Go ahead and open it. Right, so we have the instruction manual, quick start guide. Then we have the actual camcorder itself. So it looks real nice, has a premium look to it. There's plastic on top, and overall it's a good size. It really is a handheld camcorder. See, it fits nicely in my hand. In the palm of my hand, you can see that it's not that big. It's nice that it comes with this little case. And then we have the HD cable, USB cable, lens cap, lens hood, the remote control, and the micro gimbal included. So let's go ahead and open these one by one. All right. So that's the lens cap and the lens hood. Then we have our little gimbal that we can attach the camcorder to, your standard 1/4-inch thread on the bottom and on the top here. Of course, our USB-A to USB-C cable, standard cable. Here's the lens cap. Then we have our remote. So this piece must just be part of the lens hood here. And then we have the HDMI cable. Okay, and then back into the box. We have two 1800 mAh batteries that are included. So it's nice that they gave you two. That way you have a backup ready to go. The second one's the same. And then last in the box, we have the desktop tripod, the folding handle, and the external microphone. So real complete kit with this. Here's the tripod. You can easily just have this on your desk. You can use this as a webcam as well. So that's really cool. Of course, we have the thread on the bottom. We add the camcorder too. And we have the camcorder holder. This is a mount as well. So what you do is you put the camcorder on here and you can just hold it and just hold the camcorder around so it's nice and stable. Makes it a lot easier to shoot smoother footage with this. So that's a really nice touch that they added this. Then we have the external microphone. Again, another great addition. You know, a lot of camcorders don't come with all of these extras. So you get higher quality audio, better stabilization, backup batteries, a little remote. Okay, and this does require a single AA battery or a single AAA battery, and one's included. Just gonna put that in. And then we have the section where we could add the USB-C, the microphone, and the micro HDMI cable. And this flap is really nice. It's not like one of those plastic ones that has a little connection on the corner and you have to hold it up. It just quickly goes up and down, which is nice. Okay, and then we took the little plastic piece off on the shoe connector. So now we can add our microphone in. Just go and slide it on through. Just like that, and you are good to go. And we can also attach this so you can see what it's like. Just thread it on in the bottom and screw it on in, and that's set, and you can just carry it like this. So nice and smooth. So as you can see, you get a complete set with this camcorder. So for someone just starting out, this is pretty much everything you need. You're not hunting around for accessories after you buy your camera. So you're ready to go out of the box. Okay, so let's go over a little bit more about this camera and its different features. So it shoots at 5K video at 20 frames per second, or you can do 4K at 60 frames per second. And it also takes 64 megapixel photos. It's got that classic camcorder form factor with a flip out screen. And you can also flip around the screen, which is really cool. So that way, if you're recording yourself, you can easily, just talk into the camera and see what you're recording. And the build quality is solid for a budget camcorder. It's not heavy. It's about 2.5 pounds. So you can hold it for a while without getting tired. Also, the flip screen has a metal hinge, so it feels durable. You don't feel like you're gonna break this. That's also really important when you're, working with, camcorder any type of camera, you wanna make sure that this flip screen is solid because this could be the one thing that does break. So the 5K at 20 frames per second. To put that in perspective, 5K is a higher resolution than 4K, so you're getting more detail and sharper footage. But you do have to go to 20 frames per second, so keep that in mind. And with the 4K at 60 frames per second, this means you can have smoother motion in your video. So if you're filming anything with movement, kids running around, sports, action stuff, 60 frames per second is going to look a lot better than the standard 30 frames per second. But you can also do 30 frames per second at 4K as well. For photos, you're getting 64 megapixels. That's a lot of detail, which means you could crop in on your shots without losing quality. The CMOS sensor handles lower light situations pretty well too, as you'll see. And what this means in real terms is your vlogs, your travel videos, your family events, they're going to look a lot crisper and professional. And I found this is good enough for YouTube, social media, and which is really what most people need this for, and what it's good at most. So the screen itself is 3 inches. It is an IPS screen, which means you get better colors, and it means that you can see the screen clearly from wider angles. So really helpful when you're filming yourself, and it does rotate that 270 degrees, and you just get it at all angles here. You can also rotate it up like that as well. So really versatile. And this also has anti-shake built in, which is really important if you're shooting handheld. Without stabilization, your footage can look shaky and really just unwatchable, especially if you're walking and filming at the same time. And what this means is you can vlog on the go, film while you're walking around, and not have to worry as much about keeping the camera perfectly still. So it smooths out those little hand movements. So this isn't going to replace a gimbal, but for normal handheld use, it makes a noticeable difference in how professional your footage looks. Okay, so let's hop into this camcorder and go through all of just the settings, the shooting modes, and just everything you need to know about this camcorder. Okay, so first, installing the battery, really simple. Just go ahead and slide that through. This is the top. Just like that. We can go ahead and turn it on, automatically turns on. And then one other thing to look at is the memory card. So go ahead and power down the device. Just go ahead and hold on this button, and then it'll power down. Okay, and we look on the very bottom here. We can see that we have the memory card slot. Just go ahead and pull that open. And we got a full SD card here. Push in, take out the SD card, 32 gigabyte memory card, and just put it back in, and you'll hear it click. And to remove the battery, we just want to click this forward as well. I'm gonna do that as well, so you can see. And you can just pull the battery out, just like that. Okay, we'll power the device back on. Once the battery's in, it'll start up again. And let's just quickly go over the buttons on this so, you know, as we're navigating through the menus, you'll understand how to use it. So we have the main menu right here. Just press that button to get the main menu. And as you saw, that will turn on and off the device, and this will also turn on our light. So we go ahead and press it once. You can see that the light on the front is on the front of the IPS screen. That's pretty bright. This will help in low light conditions. Have this on, and we can shine light on the subject. Just turn it off, just press it once more. And then we have the DISP Wi-Fi button. I'm gonna press it once. You can see that the icons on the screen, they're no longer there, they're gone. Press it again, goes into the Wi-Fi mode. And once more, then we get the screen back with all the icons on the screen. Okay, and then on the top, we have the zoom. This is also how we'll navigate through the screen, as well as it, of course, being a touch screen. So we can touch, for example, the settings on the bottom right-hand corner, and we get the settings menu. And then to exit out of the settings menu, we can just press the mode button on top, and that will scroll down to the bottom of the screen right there. And we can just press that, or we can press the OK button, which is also the camera button right here, and we'll get taken back to the main screen. So this camera button right here, right now we're recording video. If we press it, we'll go to the camera, and then we can take our photos by pressing the camera button again. You heard the noise, it took the photo, and then to go back to the video recording, we just press the record button. And we can see the screen changes again, and now we're in the recording mode. All right, and then to view your photos and videos, go into the screen, and we can just tap on the play button right here, and then we can cycle through our different photos and videos. And we can cycle through with this button right here. Again, that's how you'll cycle through. And then we can also delete the video or image. There's a trash can icon right here. It's a little bit harder to see. Just go and press that. We can do delete current, delete all, lock current, or lock all. So a lot of settings, a lot of customization. I like the delete all. That's really handy. That way you don't have to individually delete them on the camcorder. Just do delete current and then confirm. Okay, and let's look at the zoom. So we'll go to the camcorder. We'll first go back. Now we're in the camcorder. Okay, we can tell that we're in the camcorder if we look in the upper left-hand corner. That is the camcorder icon, and then right below that, there's the SD that shows there's an SD card. And then again, down below, we can go to our saved videos and images. Then we have the date right here. Then we have the amount of time the camcorder has been on. We can go to our settings menu, top right-hand corner, of course, our battery, and the time left we have to record, and then the resolution and the frames per second right here. All right, so the first option, the resolution, we have different resolution settings that we could set here. There's the 5K up top. We have it set to 4K, 30 frames per second. I like shooting in 4K, 30 FPS. That's what this video is in. This is a really good all-around resolution. If you want to go for the finest resolution possible, you can go to the 5K. This works really well. And again, using the 60 frames per second, if there's a lot of motion in your videos. And we can go back. In some of the main settings, we have the white balance. It sets the whites in to make sure that they are true white. And this will give you the most accurate color profile possible. It's best just to leave this on auto. There's some presets in here for sunny, cloudy. It does a good job. So keeping it on auto is best. Okay, then exposure setting. So exposure is the overall brightness or darkness of your image. So it depends on a mix of ISO, and your shutter speed and aperture. But in here, we just have the option to adjust the exposure. So think of it this way. If your photo is too dark, it's underexposed. If it's too bright, it's overexposed. So you can adjust these settings to get the right balance. So we can go up 3 and down 3. So just to show you, go ahead and do -3, go back out, go ahead and show you. Oops. Okay, then we'll change it. So keep that in mind, what this looks like. Go back and go to +3. It's a lot brighter. A lot brighter there. Okay, just leave that at 0, so no exposure added. Then we can change the metering mode here as well. Sensor meter, spot meter, matrix meter, average meter. Okay, next. Then we have the metering mode. I usually keep it at average metering. We have center metering, spot metering, matrix metering. Average metering is fine here. We have the sharpness. I like to keep this at middle. High is just a little bit too crisp, and low is not enough. So the middle setting works in most all situations, but you can experiment with this. It's always important to experiment with these different settings so you can see just the image, how it changes as you adjust them. And again, it's nice that you don't have so much control over these, given the exact sharpness. You just have more presets. For example, the white balance, you usually have more detailed settings on a DSLR or mirrorless camera. So just having this a little bit simplified so you can get used to these settings, understanding how they work. That's what this camcorder is really good at. Okay, and then video quality, depending on how good you want it. Of course, the higher video quality will take up more space on your SD card, so keep that in mind. Middle works really well, so we'll just keep that there in the middle. Okay, and then we have the sensitivity. So the sensitivity is actually called the ISO sensitivity. So go into the setting, and we can adjust it from 100 all the way to 6400. So what is ISO? You can think of it like your camera's sensitivity to light. A low ISO, like 100, means your camera is less sensitive and needs more light. So this is great for bright conditions. A high ISO, like the 6400 or 3200, makes your camera more sensitive to light. And this is good for low light situations. But doing this, it adds a lot of grain and noise to the image. So it's best to have the lowest ISO possible and to have the best lighting possible when you're taking an image or you're recording video. If it is too dark, then you can adjust the ISO. Again, auto works best here. Keeping it in auto works well, but do experiment with that in the different lighting situations that you have. And then you can have the recording of audio be turned off or on. Okay, next. And again, if you wanted to select something, you would just go ahead and press the top button here to select or touch the touch screen. Okay, and the Wi-Fi, there's where we can turn off the Wi-Fi, adjust the light source frequency in case there's any type of strobe light effect when you're recording or taking an image through Windows. You can adjust this. We have the timer. We can adjust 3 to 10 minutes. Language, set the time, set the date, the formatting. So formatting the actual SD card. Okay, then device info, and then factory reset of the device. Okay, and then if we press the button right here, the mode button on the bottom, then we can cycle through the different modes. So press it once, then we get this screen where we have normal mode, slowly record. This one says loop record, time record, normal pick, auto pick, continue pick, and time pick. So the normal record is exactly what it sounds like, a normal record. And then the slowly record, it records video at a higher frame rate and saves it to playback slowed down for slow-mo clips. So it does record at a lower resolution. You can't do it at 4K. It does go to 1080 resolution. So just keep that in mind, but it's the best option for slow motion videos. And then the loop record. So this records in fixed length clips, and once the card is full, it starts overwriting the oldest clips first. So it's designed like a dash cam, action cam mode, so it is always rolling without you managing card space. So it's not ideal if you don't want to risk losing older footage. Okay, and then the still photo modes. So the normal pick, just your standard single shot photo, and the auto pick, the camera decides exposure and sometimes fires when it thinks the scene is stable, bright enough, or when your face or smile detection is happy. So this will take a photo when the camera sees a smile. So this is aimed at beginners. So the camera helps with timing and settings. It's a little bit less predictable than the normal picture though, but more hands-off. Okay, and then the continue pick at the bottom here. So this takes a burst of photos in rapid succession when you press the shutter button. So use this for group shots, thumbnails, or product shots where you want to get hands out of the frame before it fires. Okay, so now we have the remote, pretty self-explanatory. So we can record, press the record button, go and point it at the camcorder. There we go, it's starting. It's in the upper left-hand corner. It's now recording. Okay, then we can stop it. Okay, in the top left one here, this will go to the camera and take a photo. So if you're on the camcorder, it'll go to the camera, and then we press it once more, it'll take a photo. Okay, button right here turns the light on and off. Then we have the menu, and then the different modes. So the menu, all the menu items that we went over, and then the modes for the camera and the camcorder, and that's to go back. And this is also to go up and down as well when you're in the modes. All right, and then the button to view your saved videos and photos. Okay, so one other feature we didn't touch on is the Wi-Fi. So to access the Wi-Fi, just go ahead and hold the button, and we get shown our Wi-Fi ID and the password. So what this allows us to do is remote control from our phone. So you connect your phone to the camera's Wi-Fi network, and then you open the app with 𝗣𝗥𝗢𝗢𝗢, and you can stop recording, change some settings, and see a live preview on your phone screen. So this is useful if the camera's on a tripod across the room, you're doing talking head, family shots, thumbnails, and you don't want to walk back and forth. You can also do a wireless transfer to your phone, so it lets you copy selected photos and clips from the camera to your phone for quick posting to any social media platform without having to pull the SD card or plug it into USB. So that's a really nice feature with this. And it has the basic live view monitoring. So it shows what the camera sees, so your phone becomes a bigger, movable monitor. So all you have to do is just connect to the Wi-Fi from your phone, find this ID in your settings, and put in the Wi-Fi password. So what do I like most about this camcorder? So first, you get the complete kit. You get everything you need in the box, the batteries, the memory, the card, the tripod, the mic. So that's huge for beginners. And then second, the video quality. It's pretty good for being a budget camcorder. And then third, the flip screen is great. It's just great for vlogging and just being able to record yourself. And also you can charge the camcorder while recording. It's a really good feature. Some things that could be improved with this, the built-in microphone is very sensitive, so it picks up every little sound. So for anything serious, you'll want to use the included external mic that we have on top here. Okay, so this is what the camera sounds like with the microphone off. Then we'll go ahead and do the 0 decibels and then the 20 decibels so you can hear the difference. Okay, so this is what the microphone sounds like when it's at 0 decibels. Next, we'll do the plus 20 decibels to the microphone. Okay, so now the microphone is on plus 20 decibels, so you can really hear the difference with all three. So you can really hear the difference with it off, with it on, and then plus 20 decibels. And you need to keep that at least about 2 feet distance from your focus. Also, this uses manual focus, and you need to keep at least about 2 feet distance for sharp focus. It's important to know up front. And one more thing to keep in mind is this isn't compatible with Mac. So if you're a Mac user, you might have issues with file recognition and playback. So that's something to be aware of before you buy. So who is this camcorder really for? Really anyone who wants to start making content without spending a bunch of money. So if you're a beginner YouTuber, a vlogger, this gives you everything you need to start filming right away. So travel content creators will appreciate the portability and the complete kit that you get with this. This is also good for families who want a dedicated camera for events and memories. This works great for that. And just the ease of use means even someone who's not really tech savvy can just pick this up and just start recording. As you saw, the settings aren't super in-depth as far as, adjusting white balance, shutter speed, all that. So you don't have, some of those options that you do with DSLR mirrorless cameras. So it's a good stepping stone, this camera. So who should probably skip this? So if you're already, a serious content creator with pro level gear, this isn't going to replace that. And if you're on a Mac, you'll want to look at something else or make sure you have a workaround for the file compatibility issue. So this is definitely a camcorder worth checking out if you're just getting started with video content. You can get a lot of features and a complete accessory kit at a great price that won't break the bank.